Our next guest has the unique ability to turn everyday moments into a piece of art. Brianna Shrader is the founder and CEO of Shy Heart Studio. And you take amazing pictures. Thanks for coming by. I can't wait to dive into kind of what you do. So I guess let's just start there at a high level so people understand what you do with your photography. What do you do?
I run a full-service photography studio, and we capture weddings, families, and personal brands.
So that sounds like, okay, well, yeah, but we can get that. There's lots of those. But you do some special things. And it's the way you do it and the way you're going to purpose these things. So we're not necessarily looking for the 5x7 thing in a frame. You're making things that can be family heirlooms. They can be works of art. You're doing some different things. Tell us what you make.
Sure. So we really emphasize a full service experience. I find that over the years doing digital photography and giving away digital photos or digital copies to all of my clients, that they end up not doing anything with them. So every time somebody comes into my studio to meet with me, the first thing I ask them is, how was your last session? What did you get from that session? What did you do with your digital files? And 9.9 times out of 10, oh, nothing. They did nothing with them.
They're going to drive someplace.
They don't know what to do with them. So we take that guesswork off of people's shoulders, and we do the work. So we design custom wall collections, beautiful heirloom albums, and we really create a statement piece or a statement product with each session so that they last forever and they're actually immortalized in print.
So that's kind of, okay, that sounds great. Let's go make that.
Sure.
The problem is that how do you get that to happen? Because you've got to capture who that person is or who this family is or who these kids are. To me, that's kind of where you get into the weeds on it. How do you go about doing that?
That's where all the magic happens, right?
Exactly,
Is getting that authenticity out of people. So we like to do a full planning session with every client. So they come into my studio, they sit down with me, they meet with me. I learn about, if it's a family session, I learn about each kid. I want to know what their likes are, what their dislikes are, what sports they're playing, so that on the day of, I have things to talk to them about and get them to warm up to me. Because when, especially with real little kids, when the stranger shows up with this big machine in their face, they get real shy and they hide. So little kids, I'll bring out bubbles. I play games. I really get to know every family because every story is different. And especially if there's, learning disabilities or things like that that are really important for me to know, that helps me be prepared so that I really can capture the essence of who they are as a family unit and individual little humans.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can relate to what you're saying because we do the same thing in broadcasting. We're going to come in, we're going to sit down, we're going to talk to somebody, find out their story. However, there's usually a crew of people and then all this equipment. And even though they want to tell their story, it's just not a natural thing.
Right.
And it just kind of changes things. It changes the dynamics. So being able, and especially with little kids, to somehow get them to forget about the camera and go be you so I can capture that's really the key, right?
Yeah, you want them to play. And I also prep my parents. I'm like, don't bribe your kids with treats and things like that. I mean, you do what you do, but I want them to prep their kids not to behave, but to have fun. We're gonna go and we're gonna have fun, we're gonna play, we're gonna be photographed, but it's gonna be fun. That takes the stress off the parents and it lets the kids be themselves because that's what we want to capture.
Do you find they kind of forget that you're even there sometimes?
Oh yeah. Or the kids are just so engaged with me that it's then they often climb into my lap and look at the back of my camera, and I teach them how to take pictures of their parents, and I really try to make it as interactive and fun as possible. And people always laugh, but I'm not afraid to let them touch my camera because that really lets them be a part of the experience and see what's happening behind camera. I had an 11-year-old the other day tell me she wants to be a photographer when she grows up after working with me, and there's nothing better.
Oh, it's a great time. Holidays coming up, all the fall pictures, people loving that. You're going to have family things coming up. You're going to have holidays. What's the favorite thing for you to take a picture of? If you could say, this is the thing that I love taking pictures of. I love the photography of. Is there something you love? And even if it's outside of portraits.
Sure. I mean, well, I would say it's going to sound corny, but love. I love to capture love. We shoot weddings as well. I love engagement sessions, and I love photographing kids interacting with their parents because it's so genuine and pure. So those special moments, I get chills. I'm very into what I do.
So what do you do like on the holiday thing? Again, I'm just thinking of it because I know it's coming up and people are going to plan ahead. How do you do that? Because I know people like to do things like, we're all going to dress the same.
Yeah.
And okay, great, but now how do you capture that? How do you turn that staged moment into this organic moment?
So very similarly to understanding what the personalities are, I will direct people, especially if it's older and in a larger group, and then I prompt them with things like, you know, look at each other and say X, Y, Z, and it gets people laughing and being more engaged. Or I'll have them walk and do something silly that gets them laughing. You know, to try to, with older people or older clients, it's harder to stage or get that natural moment like it is with kids. It's a little bit easier. With older people, I will still get them in that moment and then prompt something different. A lot of people do like that. I call them hi moms, where we're smiling and we're all looking at the camera. So I make sure that I incorporate that, of course. But the pictures people put on the walls are always the natural, authentic interactions between each other.
Hey, real quick before you go, if people want to see a sample of your work or get in contact with you, what should they do?
They can go to our website at shyheartstudios.com, or they can find us on Instagram at shyheartstudios.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate coming by. It's great. Great information. Great stuff to learn. And hopefully it's going to be just in time for the holidays.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
We'll be right back.